Greetings towards my Century Galaxy, it's the Century Man here, so back again with another episode of the MCU movie review series. So today I'm reviewing the 11th and final movie of Phase 3 of the MCU, that is Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie was released in July of 2019. I saw this movie at the time in cinemas with my friends. This was a fun, enjoyable film to watch. This is the first movie after Endgames. But at the same time, I think it was a bit disappointed follow-up to Endgames because Endgames is got to be the top three best superhero movies of 2019. The top three's got to be Endgames, Joker. I didn't really see Joker at the time in cinemas, but I heard this movie was good. I might review and watch Joker in the future. And Shazam, another movie I saw in that year. That was good. The worst superhero movie of 2019 has to be Dark Phoenix. I don't want to get into it. That's a future movie review for another time. Anyway, so here's the backstory. So I checked on Wikipedia because, this is the sequel to Homecoming. And they announced they're going to do another Spider-Man movie. And this, like I said, it's the first movie after Endgames. It says, Spider-Man on title because at the time they didn't know what's the next title for the next Spider-Man movie. When they announced Far From Home, when I saw the trailer of Far From Home, I said to myself, I got to watch it, man, because it's Spider-Man, for fuck's sake. And I knew that Spider-Man could come back because he got blipped in Infinity War. He came back at Endgames. This movie's all about Spider-Man, Peter Parker, taking up the mantle from Tony Stark, Iron Man. Like I said, it's the follow-up from Endgames. People, not all, but some people just don't like Spider-Man in the MCU. The reason is I think they trying to make Spider-Man into the Marvel's version of Robin. I totally disagree. Not disagree. I totally agree. I just don't like the whole idea to have Spider-Man becoming the next Robin because Spider-Man and Robin are totally different heroes. The one hero compared to Robin has to be Bucky Barnes. It's in the comics. Because I reviewed Captain America: First Avenger months ago. If they had a kid playing Bucky, that would be completely fucking stupid. Because what they did in the comics, it will never work in live action. Yeah, they did it in the Avengers? Was it Earth's Mightiest Hero show? That was good, but if they did it in live action, nah. I'm glad they had Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. Another story for another time. Anyway. So, yeah, I just simply don't like the whole idea. Basically, yeah, I understand, Peter is, looking up Tony Stark as a father figure because he never had he had a father because, he got killed in Amazing Spider-Man. I'm glad they not brought it up. And also, Uncle Ben got shot by a thug. I don't want to get into that, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just I know that Uncle Ben got killed by a thug. I might review Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 1 in the future, but we know. I understand why Peter Parker is, basically looking up Tony as a father figure. But at the same time, people want to see Spider-Man as Spider-Man. We don't want to see him being this, they're trying to make Spider-Man and Iron Man as the Batman and Robin in the MCU. That's complete fucking stupid. That'll be Cap and Bucky. Anyway. So, this movie's all about, it's all about Spider-Man going to a field trip around Europe, pressing this girl called MJ, Michelle Jones, I reviewed Homecoming a month ago on this channel. I just don't like what they did. They're trying to make this girl, Michelle Jones, as their version of Mary Jane. And, here's the kicker. Michelle Jones is no Mary Jane. I'm sorry. Because in the ending parts of Homecoming, when she says, my friends call me MJ, I'll go, fucking hell, I don't, please, no. It just proves that Sony, because I saw this movie again on Netflix because Sony got the rights of Spider-Man. I think, was it Universal Studios own the rights of Hulk? I don't want to get into it, but, when she say, yeah, like I said, when she says my friends call me MJ, holy shit, they're gonna make her as Mary Jane. They said in an interview that they don't want to put Mary Jane in this version of Spider-Man, but they're gonna do it. I don't hate Zendaya, but like I said, she's not Mary Jane. In the first movie, she was kind of like this gothic emo. You know, she's do these snarky comments. You know, she thinks she's like quirky and intelligent. But looking back, I feel I kind of praised that. But at the same time, I watched some clips and watched Homecoming again. My opinions on Zendaya, Michelle Jones, NJ. Sorry, if they give her a different character, not different character, sorry. If they give her a different name, I'll be okay. But MJ, sorry, she's not Mary Jane. I guarantee at the next movie for Spider-Man is called No Way From Home. They're gonna have, if I see her dyed in her hair like ginger, I'll go fucking hell, man. It's just like I don't want to get into it, but yeah, in this movie you had Peter, developing feelings with MJ, trying to impress her, in the first movie, Homecoming, she's, like I said, she's kind of this gothic. She was wearing all black in the bulk of the movie, but in some parts she was not wearing black. Like they're in Washington in a spelling bee competition, and then in the prom scene you got like the funny part I didn't talk about. I didn't see that. You had Michelle Jones, MJ give Peter the middle finger, with I think it was a purple and yellow dress. They never make out she's a goth. I don't know why. You do get black people being goths. It's not like you have to be white to be goth. You can get Indians being black, Indians being goth, Muslims being goths, Japanese, Chinese, if you got a Far Eastern descent to be goth, Hispanics could be goths. I don't get it. They never try to make make this Michelle Jones as a goth character, and then in this movie they kind of totally, move away from that character. She did that snarky comment, she kind of with Flash. Like I said in my review of Homecoming, I like Tony Raffaelli's character, but at the same time, he's not Flash Thompson. I'm sorry. It's just there's proof that Sony just don't have the rights to the characters. Flash is supposed to be this goth. He's supposed to be this jock character in the comics and the TV shows, but they don't even make him this jock character in Homecoming and this movie. I don't know if Tony Raffaelli's in No Way From Home. I think he will. I don't know. That's another movie for another time to talk about. Anyway, yeah. In Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 1, you got, I think the first Flash Thompson was played by Joe Manganiello. He was fucking buff. He had, he's supposed to be jocks. He's supposed to be because, in Homecoming and Far From Home, you had Flash bullying Peter. But, I'll get back to, Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man, they had, Peter and Flash had to fight. And in Homecoming and Far From Home, you just basically had Flash calling, basically, verbal abusing Peter, in the first movie. Homecoming, you had Flash calling Peter Penis Parker. And then, I think he called him a dickwad, in the hotel part, because Mysterio gets that character a little bit later on. Yeah, I understand this Flash is a rich character, a rich, snooty person. But I wish they'd make him as this jock. Like I said, same as Michelle Jones. If they could just give this character a different name, I think it'd be a good character. New character. I don't think it'll be from the comics. I think it's just for the movies. They always do that, for superheroes, TV shows and movies. Adding new characters that are not really from the comics. They'll be part of the comics in the future. Harley Quinn and John Diggle from Arrow. Anyway, so the funny part, they're in the airplane. Flash was in the first class part. He's sipping wine, and then you got MJ says, "Miss, he got blipped. He's not 21. He's 16." I kind of funny that. And Flash says, "I don't know this woman." They introduced Brad in this movie. I don't know who's the actor's name of it. I don't want to get into it. I don't like Brad in this movie. That's just me. He's kind of trying to tease of a love triangle thing in this movie between MJ, Brad, Pia. But I'm gonna be honest. This whole stuff with Pia and MJ. I'm sorry. I can't get into this, man. I just simply cannot get into it for reasons. I found it so forced, and I think this MJ Michelle Jones character. I think this character has a bit of a likable touch. People just don't really like her. Like I say, she's kind of like snarky and mean, and she's up her own air. She wants you to think she's intelligent, but in reality, I think she's kind of like this bitch. I don't call Zendaya a bitch. I think she plays that character well, but it's not her. The actress. I give the actress some props to play that character, but the character came off more annoying. Not annoying, but just kind of like on the negative side more than the positive side. I don't think they're gonna bring Mary Jane in the MCU. I don't think so, man. I think just don't have the rights. If Disney got the rights, maybe in the future, but it's highly unlikely, man. So yeah, we got the teachers were fucking funny. They are funny. We got, was it JB Smoove played Julius Dell and Martin Starr as Mr. Harrington. Mr. Harrington was funny. He's one of my favorite characters in that movie. There's one scene, they're in Italy, I think they're in the city of Venice. He's taking a picture near the canal. He managed to drop his camera into the water, kind of like that. And also they're in the airplane. Ned trying to come up with this lame excuse to make sure Pia sits next to next to MJ on the plane. And then, he said about, Pia's allergic to perfume, and Harrison says, he's managed to, trying to help him. They kind of switch seats, you have Ned with Betty, Brad with MJ, and Pia with Mr. Harrison. He said about, his wife, she didn't got blipped, but she ran off with another person, so it's a damn shame, and also there's, I'll get to one scene a little bit later on. Let's get to the blip, man. So, they didn't really talk about the blip in Endgames, but in the beginning scene of this movie, you got the funny part, you got the marching band in, I think they were attending a basketball match, and then the marching band got blipped, and then they got blipped 5 years later. Her room is it said if you got blipped, you don't age, but if you age, if you got blipped, you cannot grow old. But if you didn't got blip, you age. Brad was about, I don't know what Brad's age. I think he was about a 10-year-old kid. And then 5 years later, he's a teenager. He's probably the same age as Peter. I don't know. I think he's 15. I don't know why they made it 5 years. I understand if they did 1 year, that'd be too short in my opinion. I wish if they did 2 or 3 years, that'd be okay, it'd be decent. But 5 years is a bit fucking too long in my opinion. Can you imagine they did 10 years later in Endgames? Holy fuck, man! I don't want to get into it. So there's one scene you saw Peter, Brad saw Peter taking his clothes. Peter's trying to avoid his cover being blown. His identity being blown. I'll get to the post-credit scene. That is good. That was a good cliffhanger. Yeah, Brad saw Pia with this girl. Instead, the girl shooting Brad, and Pia says, "Do not shoot him." I said to myself, Pia's a fucking idiot, because I'll get to that one scene I'm gonna talk about. They're in the Pia and Ned are in the room. You got Nick Fury basically shot he shot Ned in the neck with a tranquilizer dart, and you got people kind of interrupt. They're talking about the elementals. I'll get to that a little bit shortly. And you got Mr. Harrison came along, says you want some counseling, and he said good. I don't have any qualifications. And then you got Betty, and this is a bit of a side note. Before I get to the same scene, I'm gonna talk about the the interruption part. You got I like the relationship between Ned and Betty. I think it's so cute and funny at the same time. But Betty asks Pia, is Ned okay? Pia says he's sleeping, and then you got Dal, knock on the door, and Fury says, if someone about to open that door, you and I are going to attend another funeral. I kind of laugh at that. Yeah, the Elementals. I found in the comics, there's different like, villains with man in it. They got Hydro Man, you got Cyclone, Sandman, and what's the name of Fire? Um, I'm not gonna get into it. Jesus Christ, he's Fire. Because whether or not if they when Sandman's part of the Elementals, I'm glad they don't have Sandman in this movie because going back to 2007 Spider-Man, played by Thomas, was it Thomas Madden Church? I don't know. I'll get to Spider-Man 3 in the future, but the Elementals, I thought that they were the main villains of this movie, but instead it's Mysterio. I'm not familiar with Mysterio. I watched, like I say, I only want. I'm a big fan of the Spider-Man anime show, not yeah, animated series on Fox Kids at the time. It's on the Disney Plus app. I seen it. It was good. I also like I seen a little bit of Spectacular Spider-Man. That was the 2009 2010. I like Ultimate Spider-Man with I'm gonna say Tim Drake, but Drake Bell. But yeah, Mysterio played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. um, I'm gonna. This is Russell a little bit feathers. I think he's okay. I think he's one of these forgettable villains in the MCU. And let's be honest. I don't think he was terrible, but at the same time, he wasn't great. I think he was okay. He's got to be like a mid card villain. He's basically the teaser like he's from another Earth. I think he said about he's from Earth 833 and Peter's from Earth 613. You imagine they just got if they say 626? Holy shit! They did a reference to Leo and Stitch, but it was 623. But in reality, he's not. The teaser. I thought it was the first movie they kind of expand more of the multiverse. Unfortunately, we'll get that in Loki anyway. But he's a villain in this movie. He kind of made up the whole elementals. In Mexico, in Venice, and Prague. It's just like it's all projectors. The ones, yeah, he's kind of like because basically, Peter has his glasses called Edef. It's Tony Stark's glasses. I think it stands for even death. I'm the hero. Yeah, and yeah, the funny part when Flash took the glasses from Peter, Peter knocked him out. Yeah, at least Peter beat punched Flash because Flash is not can't even punch Peter. And Tony Ravioli says about in Homecoming he packed about 60 pounds of muscle. It's just like anyway, yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance as Mysterio I think was okay. He was decent. The scary part has not scary part, but you got this illusion bits. You fall like MJ fall off the Eiffel Tower. You got this Tony Stark zombie. He's wearing the Iron Man armor. And Spider-Man wearing his old outfit before he wears the Spider-Man outfit when Tony Stark gifted him. It's a very distant. People just don't like the zombie scene with Tony Stark. People say they want the scene with the zombie with Uncle Ben. I don't want to see Uncle Ben. I think it was a wasted opportunity. I think they should have did a part with a gravestone with Uncle Ben's name, Ben Parker's name, but and also see or even like I know like I don't want to like people are just getting sick of every time a superhero movie kind of making people keep I'm trying to say something sick of people like not super why do I keep saying people sorry I'm kind of stumbling but I'm trying to get my words a little bit of a tongue twisted moment I quit. I hate like superhero movies keep beating the fans over the head of an origin like Spider-Man origin, Hulk's origin, Batman's origin, and the death of Uncle Ben. But for the one time only, you can probably see like a scene like Uncle Ben getting shot. Maybe it might be a new actor playing the role as Uncle Ben. It might be they can like instead of like point you can have Tom Holland's beating that scene. Or even the death Uncle Ben's death scene in Spider-Man 1, instead of having like another actor playing the role as Uncle Ben, we don't want to see that. You can pull him like I don't know, it's like you can crop Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire off that scene. You put Tom Holland in it. That'd be good to see. It'd be more scary, but to expose Peter Parker's fear. I think they completely wasted the opportunity. But yeah, he was okay. He was okay for what it is. And shockingly, he died in this movie. I'm just like fucking shocked. He's about to shot Peter, but instead he shot. I don't think he shot himself. I think like bullet like ricochet off him. He didn't got shot in the head. He got shot in the stomach. It's like it's. I think it was a mistake killing him off. In my opinion, instead of killing him off, he could probably be in hospital. I think he's better off being in jail. In my opinion, you could probably set up the Sinister Six with him and Vulture and Doctor Octopus. He's going to be in the next movie, No Way From Home. But sitting and killing him off, I think it was a bit of a disservice, man. So yeah, this movie's focused on and also back in the MJ bits, like in this movie, Pierre trying to give MJ a necklace. It was the dahlia. What's it called? The dahlia flower. It's called black dahlia. I'm trying to say, yeah, black dahlia. That's goth. That's the goth. But she's not even goth. She's not. They never, like I said, they're never trying to make the character a goth character. It's just like, what the fuck? I don't get into it. I don't want to get into it. So anyway, I think the MJ Pierre thing is so forced. I think the Ned and Betty bit this relationship between Ned and Betty was a bit organic. I think I got my facts wrong about Ned. I thought it was just a made up character for the movies, but instead he was a character in the comics. And also, there's major rumors that Ned's going to be the Hobgoblin, probably in a future movie. And I said to myself, and I see someone else's review on this movie. I said to myself, that is completely fucking stupid to have Ned to be the Hobgoblin, because he was in the comics. But that's something for Harry Osborn, because if they attempt to do that probably in the next movie or future movie, that gotta be because I put a lot of wrestling terms in my reviews of Marvel. I'm gonna go with it, but if Ned becoming the Hobgoblin, that will be the worst heel turn in the MCU, because the difference between Ned and Harry, because Harry wants become taking his dad's mantle, become the next Goblin. I wish he was the Hobgoblin in Spider-Man 3 instead of becoming the new Green Goblin. I think in the comics he was the Green Goblin, but instead he's got to realize, he's just, people remind him as his dad instead of him. He kind of changed the color I think he wears orange Hobgoblin, but anyway, the difference is Harry Osborn wants to become the Hobgoblin to get revenge on Spider-Man, because Spider-Man accidentally killed his dad. As for Ned, he knows Peter Parker's secret identity. He wants to help Peter in a brainy thing, because Peter can do the brawn thing, fighting the bad guys. He'll probably fight the bad guys using his mind, outwit the villains. He's trying to help Peter. He's loyal to Peter. It makes more sense to have him be turn him for no reason. That'd be fucking stupid if they made that heel turn. I don't want to see Ned becoming the Hobgoblin. I like that Ned. Jacob Batalon, he's good, man. I don't want to see him being Hobgoblin. That'd be, like I said, fucking stupid. But and also they end that relationship between Ned and Betty, man. It was funny. There was one scene. I think they were holding hands. Someone's drawing a picture of them. It was a cartoon picture. I kind of liked it. And also, they end this relationship organically. They didn't have a row or a fight. They just grow apart. But I'm hinting they could be together, in the future, maybe from No Way From Home, or a future movie. Betty Brant. I found out she's also from the comics. She also worked with J.J. Jonah Jameson in the Daily Bugle in the comics, and also in the movies, the Sam Raimi movies. In this movie, and she appeared in Homecoming. She's kind of like the school reporter. So glad they kind of de-aged the character, because in Spider-Man, I think in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy movies, she was an adult, but in Homecoming, the MCU Spider-Man films, in Homecoming, in this movie Far From Home, she's a kid, a teenager. So, and also another love interest is between, Happy Hogan, John Favreau, come back as Happy Hogan, and also having a relationship with Peter's Aunt May. I kind of like Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. I kind of like a mixed signal because of her age. How young that Aunt May character is, because I seen a lot of cartoons and movies of Spider-Man. Aunt May's got to be in her 60s and 70s, but Marissa Tomei, she's in her 50s, still in her 50s. In 2016, her battle in the MCU, she was like pushing 50. Right now, I'm guessing she's the same age as my mom, but I'm glad they de-age her, the character Aunt May. But she's smoking hot, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, it's a shame they didn't have some clips, Happy and, May having, like, going out for a dinner. There's one. This is the end scene of this film. Yeah, Pierce, you did this counseling bit in his room. It's like, are you guys dating? I think Happy says yes. May say no. It's a damn shame. I understand why I'm glad they had Happy in this movie. You got this isn't the attack of. This isn't the London fight in the final boss fight in the movie. You got like May, not May. You got MJ. Betty, Ned, Flash, you got like Flash. But basically you're trying to get the kids get the kids to safety, and then I think one of them says, "Who are you?" And Happy says, "I work with Spiderman." I think it was Flash or Betty. I think it was Flash says, "You work for Spiderman?" No, I work with Spiderman. I kind of like that. And also when the drone's going after Happy and the kids. Ned says, where's my life playing video games? Betty says, I got a fake ID. I never used it. And Flash in the whole bulk of this movie, he's basically doing these streaming. He says, I did these stupid videos to make sure people like me. And Happy says, if it wasn't for your stupid videos, Spider-Man don't know where you are. And Flash says, Spider-Man, follow me. I saved us, and basically you got MJ being a bitch. If you saved us, how are we dying? I don't want to get into that. Anyway, so Happy. Well, I think it was good to see Happy. It's giving Happy something to do because Tony Stark is gone. I think in the comics that Happy was in this relationship with Pepper Potts, but I don't think they're going that direction because. I said in my review of Endgames that it'd be really cool to have Pepper Potts taking the mantle as Iron Woman, following the boots of Tony. But I think Gwyneth Paltrow is unlikely. I think Gwyneth Paltrow is done with the MCU. I think she's doing like producing vagina candles. But yeah, it's a damn shame we're not going to see Pepper Potts in the MCU ever again. I think she's likely going to be recast by someone else. I don't know who, because let's be honest, I think it's the first time since Red Skull, because Hugo Weaving was Red Skull in Captain America: First Avenger. He got replaced by a different actor, and also with Rhodey, in Iron Man 2, because the first Iron Man movie was the first Rhodey was played by Terrence Howard, and then he got replaced by Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle was good. Anyway, so and also, Mysterio, Quantum Beck. His motive is stopping Tony Stark, but he's dead. Yeah, you got Spider-Man. You had Spider-Man because he's filling the boots of Tony Stark. Because I think he stole his work. Call it his technology barf. And also you got William. We haven't saw that character since Iron Man 1 a decade ago in 2008, was, in Beck's crew. Anyway, I covered most of it, so yeah. Boy, it was a fun movie. It's a damn shame, it didn't have a follow-up to Endgames because I think the two movies failed to lift up after those two movies and talk about Avengers, Infinity War and Endgames has to be Ant-Man and the Wasp and this movie. It was just like it was. That's the problem with Phase 3 movies. I'll talk about it when I rank all the Phase 3 movies next time. I think they kind of shoehorn a lot of movies because like if one movie turned out to be great and they end up doing a follow up and the follow end up be not on the same level. That goes towards Ant-Man and the Wasp and also with Endgame, not Endgame, Far From Home. I wish they just cut down these movies, because there was 11 movies in Phase 3. Phase 1 and Phase 2 had 7 movies. It reminds me like if you watch a professional wrestling pay-per-view and it come out and this pay-per-view turned out to be good or great, you just want to see a follow-up, to see a follow-up what's going to happen on Raw or the following week on Impact Wrestling or Dynamite or the next night on Nitro. They want to see the follow-up, but yeah, and also like to see these movies did not live up to the hype. They're not bad movies, Far From Home and Ant-Man and the Wasp. They were decent movies, but they not lived up to the hype. They didn't like. I think it has to do with because these movies are serious with a little bit of humor, and these movies are more comedy. Yeah, they're trying to lighten up the mood. Actually, with Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're trying to light up the mood after the events of Infinity War. This movie was kind of like a cool off, kind of like it lost a bit of momentum after Endgames. It's just what it is. I said in my review of Endgames, I wished Endgames closed out Phase 3, and this movie should have, basically in my opinion, should have like be the first movie to kick off Phase 4. But at the same time, I think the reason why they pushed this in July, because Endgames was in April and May. This movie was in July. I understand it's July, it's summertime, people are going on holidays, understand why they'll have to put it in the summer, because Homecoming was in the summer as well in 2017. But I think they should have, in my opinion, they should have really, this movie should have, wait until another year, push back a year in 2020 to kick off Phase 4, and have Endgame just close out the Infinity Saga, and this movie will kick off the post-Infinity Saga. That's just me. Black Widow, let's get to it, man. I cover most of it. I cover most of the movie. Like I say, I think it was a decent movie, mixed bag a little bit with MJ, Pierre, and also the walk around near the bridge before they find out Beck, make the, he basically make up all the monsters, the elementals. Pierre said to Mary Jane, why I keep saying Mary Jane, because Zendaya, Michelle Jones is no Mary Jane, but when Pierre said to MJ, Michelle Jones, I'm Spider-Man, and she said I know you are, and then all of a sudden, a couple minutes later, I'm Spider-Man, I'm deadly Spider-Man. Are you sure? I was just joking you. Why do you said, I know who you are. I know. You said he brings up the Washington Monument. It's just what the fuck. It's just so forced and rushed in my opinion. And also, Spider-Man just wanted to calm. I understand. I think Nick Fury was a bit of a dick. In this movie. He said, he's basically wants Spider-Man, Peter Parker to, step up to become Iron Man. He doesn't want to because he wants a break. Because he got blipped for 5 years. He wants a break. He wants to spend time, with his, girl. He was about to go to Paris, but instead went to Prague, And also, he's trying to kill Brad because Brad knows the secrets. Not the secrets of Spider-Man, but seeing the girl, the blonde girl, he's in a bar, and then he's using the glasses instead of deleting the photo in Brad's camera. He's trying to kill him, and he kind of and also he said about he said about I'm a friendly neighbor Spider-Man, and Fury says, "Bitch, please, you've been to outer space," and Peter says, "It was an accident." And also he said about can it be other guys do this? He name dropped Thor. He name dropped Thor, and Thor says he's out of will because he's with the Guardians. He brings up Doctor Strange. They say unknown. When Pierce name dropped Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury says don't invoke her name. And also, let's get to the post credit scene. So I'll get to the aftermath from the MCU a little bit shortly. So the post credits, the second post credit scene was a bit disappointing for me. I didn't really see it at the time in cinemas. I also saw the first one, the mid credit scene, but the post credit scene was a bit disappointing. You basically had Fury and Maria Hill. You got like Talos and Soren. We haven't saw these characters since Captain Marvel, portraying the role as Nick Fury and Maria Hill, because Nick Fury's on a spaceship with the Skrulls. I hope it's afterwards. This was after the events of Far From Home, in the post-credit scene. If they were the whole time in this movie disguised as Nick Fury and Maria Hill, that would be completely fucking stupid. For me, that would be stupid. To not having the real Nick Fury in that role, that'd be completely dumb. So yeah, the mid-credit scene, it closed out Phase 3 of the MCU. Basically you had, after, you had, I think, Spider-Man, and, basically swinging MJ, he's on his lap, he's swinging, like, building to building. He saw, like, he saw the footage of, Quentin Beck, they praised him Mysterio as the next hero. And, he said about, like, he got shot, you got a fucking cameo appearance of J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson. We haven't saw that character since Spider-Man 3, because he jumped ship from the DCEU. Yeah, the DC Extended Universe, I'm trying to say. He was Commissioner Gordon. That was shit, that 2017 Justice League movie. But he came back as a cameo, as Jonah Jameson. He had bald hair this time, so disappointing. I know he's wearing a wig. I wish he just came back with the wig. His iconic hair. I know it's weird, but seeing bald is a bit weird. Jonah Jameson with no hair? Come on. He brings up, like, Spider-Man's a murderer, because that character, I know he's the Perry White of the Marvel Universe, Jonah Jameson, J.J. Jameson. And Jameson, he said Spider-Man is a murderer, and, he said Spider-Man killed him, and when Quentin Beck, revealed, Peter's identity, that was a shocker. I said to myself, with my friend, I go, wow, I want to see the next movie. I hope they do a follow-up from Far From Home, but my fear is they're gonna move on to the direction of No Way From Home. That they're gonna bring Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. They're gonna do a live action Spider-Verse movie. I said to myself, that don't do this. Do it at the next movie. Focus on the follow up. If they tend to do that, that'd be completely fucking stupid. It'd be another disappointed follow-up, because this movie was a bit disappointing from Endgame. They kind of, bring up, Cap's death, and Iron Man's death, and Scott Johansson's death, and Vision's death. Yeah, he died in Infinity War. But, it'll be the same scenario as, what's his name? Tim Blake Nelson, who plays Samuel Stearns. He was supposed to become the leader in the next Incredible Hulk movie. Unfortunately, they never went on that. I don't think we're going to see leader in the MCU. It'd be like too little too late. They should have done it years ago. It has to do with, like, Edward Norton leaving the MCU. He got replaced by Mark Ruffalo. It's a damn shame. That could set up, like, a future sequel. And really funny that my Incredible Hulk review is one of the most popular video on my channel. Go and check it out. Anyway, so I hope they don't ditch the whole idea of that cliffhanger, that payoff. I hope they have a good follow up to it. Because save the Spider-Verse into another movie. Just focus on the aftermath from when Mysterio, Quentin Beck reveals Spider-Man's secret identity. I want to see that, so, Anyway, so I'm gonna close out, man. So yeah, honestly, I'm gonna give it 3.5. I think it wasn't a terrible movie, but at the same time, it wasn't fantastic. I don't know, between Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, one day I might do a comparison of the two films. Which one's way better? I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Homecoming. That was good. Far From Home was fun. It was good as well, but I think it was a bit weak. I think it's a bit weaker. I think Homecoming wasn't great, but was fantastic, because this Spider-Man in the MCU, they focus on the high school version of Spider-Man. We never got that in, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Yeah, we had Spider-Man in school in the first movie. He was in college in the second movie, but you never got that high school spirit in Spider-Man. I'm glad we got that in this version. Well, Tom Holland, he's beautiful. Yeah, he's a handsome guy. I'm not gay, but I'm just saying, like, I'm glad they cast him. At this moment of time, there's one scene like he's getting changed. He's wearing like he's fucking out. He's fucking ripped, man. He's ripped. Tom Holland. He's just he spend time working out in the gym. I don't want he's not super bulky. You don't want Spider to be on fucking roids. He's got an athletic bod, and you can tell like in the first movie he was a bit skinny because the Tom Holland character thing, not Tom Holland character, the Tom Holland Peter Parker. I think he's kind of like more of a dorky type of character, a nerdy character. He's more smart and intelligent. I understand. I think Tom Holland plays a good role. Good role for the character. He plays a good job in that role. I'm trying to say. I think they're gonna have to stop it right now because look, he's fucking buff now. He's buff. Tom Holland. So yeah. I give it 3.5. I think these movies, the more focus on comedy, it's going on the lighter side of Spider-Man because in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was heroic. Yes, it was a bit in the middle. You had some comedy moments, but at the same time, a little bit more of the darker moments. Amazing Spider-Man, I think it was disappointing. It was more focused on the dark side of Spider-Man. Yeah, we never got that, but I don't want to see that. It doesn't work in my opinion. It's more for Batman, but Spider-Man, absolutely not. But with Spider-Man, it's more in this, in Homecoming and Far From Home. I think it's more. Yeah, it's more on the comedy side. It's more on the lights on the bright side of Spider-Man. I kind of like that. It's kind of like it's kind of like good. I'm not saying it's perfect. If you rank this, I rank the MCU Spider-Man right down the middle. I think Tom Holland's in the middle for me. I think the best Spider-Man has to be Tobey Maguire. For me, the worst Spider-Man has to be Andrew Garfield. For me. Some people say Tom Holland, but for me, it's Andrew Garfield. So, yeah, I think Andrew Garfield is. I think people say he's a bad Peter Parker, but at the same time, he's a good Spider-Man. It's a bit debatable, but yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna end this. Yeah, I'm gonna end this review. And also, yeah, before that, this is the final MCU movie for almost 2 years. This is the final Marvel something until WandaVision of this year because the first movie to kick off Phase 4 in 2020 was supposed to be Black Widow. Unfortunately, COVID-19 pandemic hit, and then they kind of pushed it back. I think they were pushing the movie back in October, November. Unfortunately, they just pushed it back next, the following year in 2021. It comes out on the 9th of July of this year. Can't wait. It's a damn shame. This is the first time. 2020 was the first time with no MCU movies since 2009. Because 2009 didn't have. They had a Marvel movie. Had that bastard shitty. They had a shitty X-Men Origin Wolverine film. I don't want to get to that. That's crap. But yeah, it's the first time since 2009 we got no MCU movies because Iron Man 2 was in 2010. It's shocking that 2009 2020 had no MCU movies. It's disappointing, but I'm glad they're coming. I'm glad things change. I'm glad we're gonna see MCU movies again in 2021. The 4 movies of this year are Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, The Infernals, and Spider-Man No Way From Home. I'm glad we're gonna see that in 2021. I think I think Phase 4, WandaVision really truly kicked off Phase 4. That was good, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was good as well. I think WandaVision was a bit better show than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Low-key so far is a bit weaker out the 3. Don't know about what ifs, but I think Phase 4 is going to be good, Anyway, so I'm going to end this, review of it. This is the final movie I review for the series, the final episode of the MCU movie review series. has to be the ranking these Phase 3 movies to best and worst, so that'll be next time. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. If I missed out something, yeah, write it down in the comment section below. Might talk about it when I do my rankings of these movies, so to best and worst. So yeah, leave the thoughts in the comment section below, smash like button, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, and more. Watch all my previous Marvel MCU movie reviews from all three phases. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.